Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are in the 9th chapter, Royal Secret, Royal Knowledge. And what verse are we on?
11.
Could you help us out?
Yeah. Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam jananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools disregard me when I dwell in human form. They know not my higher being as the great Lord of all beings.
So, very important verse. Lots and lots of ways to look at it. Of course, the surface way to look at it is, I see Lord Krishna as a person running around. He's Arjun's charioteer. People don't know that he's an avatar. But that's not the deeper meaning of it. I have news for you. You are an avatar. What's an avatar, Jim? What's an avatar?
A human form.
A divine incarnation of God, isn't it? God in human form. Think of Jesus, Lord Krishna, Rama, those are the avatars. I'm a worm. But what Krishna is saying is the problem is ignorant people disregard the fact that while the bodies differ, different bodies, different minds, different intellects, the self in you is Krishna. And what you and I tend to do is, oh, I like that person. They've got a hot body. Oh, I don't like that person. They're snarky. We pay attention to the upadhis, the equipment. Here, Krishna says, that's because we're fools. But Every single person, if you look them right into the eye, these are magic holes in eternity. There's a conscious being looking out of those eyes. That is Krishna. That is consciousness. And it's the same divinity in everyone. You mean even in Donald Trump? Yes. The bodies are different. The behaviors different. The thoughts are different. The feelings are different. But the self is the same in everyone. So the yogi endeavors to relate to that divinity. And as we relate to it, we call it forth, as it were. And if you do that, watch how it transforms your relationships. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Two together. Mogha shamogha karmano mogha jnana vichetasah rakshasima surim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaah mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritimashritah bhajantyanya manaso kyatva bhutadimavvyayam bhajantyanyamanaso kyatva bhutadimavvyayam. Of vain hopes, of vain actions, of vain knowledge, and senseless, they verily are possessed of the delusive nature of Rakshasas and Asuras. But the Mahatmas, O Partha, or great souls, partaking of my divine nature, worship me with a single mind, with a mind devoted to nothing else, knowing me as the imperishable source of all beings.
Yes, yes. So the foolish person, identified with their own body, or their own body plus the personality. Jiva bhavana, the feeling that I'm a person. Vain hopes, vain desires, a stupid way to live. Thinking I need to defend, protect, secure, amplify self. I need to do better than other selves. I have to compete. I have to defend. I have to protect. They become of the nature of Rakshasas and Asuras. These are two of the classes of demons. And again, are there demonic beings in other realms that we need to be concerned with? Who's to say? But what we think of this as mystic symbolism. So a human being with the personality of a Rakshasa is greedy. I want. A person with a personality of an Asura is angry. People who go through life, I only have one feeling. I piss off all the time. That is the result of this deep identification with the body and this firm conviction. Happiness is out there. Misery is out there. I need stuff. I want stuff. Gimme, 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 gimme. But the great soul, the Mahatma, knows two things. One, not the body, mind, intellect. Aham brahmasmi, I am that ground being. Krishnoham, Krishnoham, I am. Here, when Krishna says, worships me, exoteric meaning is I'm devoted to Lord Krishna. I do puja. The deeper meaning of it is the yogi develops that special trick of Atma Ramana, being able to tune up the mind and revel in the self. This is the highest form of worship. Any thoughts? Next verse. Are those candles making you uncomfortable? They're
No.
scented.
No.
Some people it bothers them. I just wanted to check.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I love it. Thank you. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always glorifying me, striving, firm in vows, prostrating before me, and always steadfast. They worship me with devotion.
So again, in the preparatory practices, we have what we call an Ishtadevata. It doesn't have to be Lord Krishna. It can be Shiva, it can be Lakshmi, it can be Durga, it can be Ram, it can be Jesus, it can be Allah. And this becomes the focus of my devotion and worship. Constantly keeping God in my mind. The deeper meaning is I do this practice of mature viveka, that firm conviction that Brahman, myself alone, is real. Phenomenal world is mithya, illusory, ephemeral, a light show, fake news. And the self is real. Vairagya. I endeavor to detach from the chaos of the sense and endeavor to absorb my mind in the sun. This is the Parama Prema, supreme love and devotion. This is the highest form of worship. Not only one who's a full knower of the Supreme, but who has retired into the Supreme. Next verse.
Jnana yagyena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekatvena prathakatven bahuda vishvatomukham. Others also, offering the wisdom sacrifice, worship me, regarding me as one, as distinct as manifold, me who in all forms faces everywhere.
Jnana yagyena. By means of jnana yajna. This is what Swamiji called his camps. They were jnana yajnas. So yajna means a sacrifice. Do homa. That's a sacrifice. But a jnana yajna is my sacrifice to knowledge. So it means the time we spend studying scripture, hanging out with the Guru, deep meditation, endeavoring to soak the mind in. Endeavoring to see the self not only as the core of my being, but as the fundamental essence of all phenomena, gross and subtle. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this is verily Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am. So our Vedanta sadhana can be called jnana yajna, the sacrifice to knowledge. Beautiful, beautiful expression. And one, of course, Swamiji's favorites, because that's what he called his camps. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Aham kraturraham yagya swadaham mahamaushadam mantroham mahamevajyam maham griharaham hutam. I am the kratu, I am the sacrifice, I am the offering or food to pitris or ancestors. I am the medicinal herb and all plants. I am the mantra, I am also the clarified butter. I am the fire, I am the oblation.
So here he's using the various imagery of the Vedic sacrifice, the yajna. So the priest sets up the altar, the bricks, and lights the sacred fire, and there's grains and seeds, there's ghee, clarified butter, and then there's water, and then there's mantras that are chanted and ritual gestures that are done. What Krishna is saying is, I'm all of that. But the esoteric meaning, remember what we talked about way, way back in the 4th and 5th chapter about Deva Yajna, the sacrifice to the gods. Meaning, the presiding principles over the various fields of human endeavor and the forces of nature make everything we do a sacrament. When I'm washing the dishes, Krishna is doing the washing. The dish is Krishna. The washing is Krishna. The satisfaction I get with a clean kitchen is Krishna. It's all Krishna. When I go to work, I have to do a report. The one who writes the report is Krishna. The report is Krishna. The people I'm presenting it to is Krishna. The customers are Krishna. The boss is Krishna. Here, the assignment is endeavor to see the self in and through the phenomenal. How do we do this? So the first dimension of the practice is to rediscover myself as witnessing consciousness. That practice is subject to other discrimination. I'm not the body, I'm not the prana, I'm not the feelings, I'm not the thoughts, I'm not the ego sense, I'm not even the ignorance of deep sleep. What am I? Sakshi. Chidakasha, the space of pure awareness. Some people think the assignment, the sadhana ends with that. No. Because if you come out of meditation and you go into the world, why did that person say that to me? The world still afflicts me. So then I have to endeavor to see the self in the world. We fooled you. There's no not self. What I've been calling the not self is the self too. And the practice here is the renunciation of my habituated attachment to the reactivity of my mind. Moon up the mind. When I see the mind extroverting towards a people, place, thing, or situation, bring the energy back. When I'm getting disturbed at something in the world, bring the energy back. Make peace of mind your most prized possession. Nothing in this world is important enough for us to lose our peace of mind. Ever. And as we dial down this reactivity, another technique, have a mind like a colander. You know, when you're rinsing your lentils, just let the water pour through. Shankara says, have a mind like water flowing through a wicker basket. Whatever sensory data comes in, just let it go through. It's not real. Jagan Mithya. The phenomenal world is illusory. Till the mind can be at meditation, in your meditation seat, and when you're in the world, we begin to find just this natural openness. Any thoughts about this? Next verse.
Pitaha पितामहस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामह वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार Riksama Yajureva cha. I am the father of this world, the mother, the supporter, and the grandsire, the one thing to be known, the purifier, the syllable Om, and also the Rik, the Sam, and the Yaju also.
Yeah. So let's parse this one and go through the various pieces. So if I bring out my little statue of the Shiva Lingam in the yoni, you have this masculine principle, which is sankalpa or pure consciousness. You can look at it that way. And what is the yoni? It is prakriti, the womb of everything. So Krishna is not only pure awareness with the potentiality of everything, but also the stuff out of which all of this is made, the womb of the Spirit. Father and Mother of the Spirit. What's the next idea?
I am the father and the mother, the supporter and the grandsire.
Yes. So the support. So I see the names and forms. What's illusory is their shape, their activity. What's real is they're just consciousness. Just like when you visualize a mango, the mango of your imagination is illusory. But what is it made of? What is the support of my imaginary mango? The fabric of my mind. The whole universe comes about in exactly the same. By grandsire here, the ultimate authority. Isha, we're studying Ishavasya on Saturday mornings. Who is the ruler? Who is the Lord? It's a cosmos, not a chaos. God's in charge. Next idea.
The one thing to be known.
So there's all sorts of limited, partial, material knowledge. None of it does any more than give us temporary intellectual satisfaction. Doesn't mean not to do it. I love looking at these YouTube videos about the stuff the James Webb telescope is finding. It's totally rewriting our cosmology. You know, we're like ants on the earth trying to understand the nuclear power plant. Most of it we can't even perceive. Something there is to be known, which is the highest knowledge, beyond which there's nothing to know. Most importantly, is the one thing that satisfies the human heart. It's the self. That's Krishna. Next idea.
The purifier.
So, two ways to look at it. First way, the way to heal the mind is to get out of the mind. When I have this shift in viewpoint, And I stay identified with that witnessing consciousness. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind and its reactivity. I'm not the intellect with its stupid ideas. I'm not the sniveling little ego. What am I? Aham Brahmas. Shivoham. Shivoham. Getting out of the mind paradoxically allows the mind to settle down, and it heals. And we find after 6 months, a year, 5 years of meditation, by grace, so many of these problems, they just go away. Why did I used to get so worked up over that? And then the deeper understanding of the verse, the self is Vishuddha, beyond all impurities, extremely pure. It is nirmala, without any taint, without any dirt. Already pure. That's who I am. Next verse.
There's a couple more things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The syllable Om.
Yes. So Om is the sound syllable in the Vedas for ultimate reality. The exegesis of Om we find in the Mandukya Upanishad. All this is Om. All that is beyond this is verily Om. Om is divided into Chatushpada, 4 quarters. A, U, Ma, and silent. A stands for the entire waking state reality. U stands for the dream state. And we lump into that all altered states, like you take ecstasy or ayahuasca or anything like that. Those are all various dream states. Ma stands for the deep sleep state, characterized by pure ignorance. Upon awakening, I can go, oh, I must have slept so soundly, I know nothing. And then Turiya, the consciousness in which the 3 states exist. Om is all. Om is in the Vedas, this connection of speech, mind, manifestation, all connected into this science of mantra. Next one, next idea.
The Rik, Sama, and the Yajur also.
Yes. So here he leaves out Atharva Veda. I don't know if that's a later Veda. I really don't know. But we can include Atharva Veda too. So the basic idea, the Vedas contain all the knowledge, worldly knowledge, that's important for humans to know. how to do everything. That's contained in what we call the Karma Kanda section, the action portion or the ritual portion. But also in the Upanishads, the concluding portions of the Vedas is the highest. We call the Vedas Shruti, which means heard. Two ways to look at it. In old-timey days, before writing, the local Brahmin was the village library too. So their job was to memorize the Veda. So you went to get the knowledge from the local priest, and you heard it from him. But the deeper meaning is, how is this knowledge revealed? These rishis in deep meditation were open to the total mind and directly, intuitively receive this knowledge. That's not a car alarm, it's just a giant cricket. Next verse.
Just gotta make sure it's not mine.
Was it your car?
I don't know. I'm gonna give up. It's okay.
Does your phone tell you?
No. Yeah, never mind. I would rather focus on this. Gati Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Sruhit Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the goal, the supporter, the Lord, the witness, the abode, the shelter, the friend, the origin, the dissolution, the foundation, the treasure house, and the seed imperishable.
Yes. So again, his point is to try to indicate all the various dimensions of the phenomenal and that which is beyond the phenomenal is Krishna. So let's take each one of these ideas. The first one.
I am the goal.
Yes. What is the goal of the human life? Ultimately, it's God consciousness. Where we're all going. All the other stuff, job, family, possessions. Ram Dass used to call it grist for the mill. It's where I work out my kleshas, my afflictions. I let go of my attachments. Next idea.
The supporter.
In the Raja Yoga tradition, Patanjali recommends Ishvara Pranidhana as a primary practice, which means trustful surrender to God. The 12-step traditions, the third step says we made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care God as we understand God. Very Vedantic. So the yogi makes the decision, my life is not my own. It's not my problem anymore. I give it to you. Give it all. Next idea.
The Lord.
And here, Lord here means also ruler. So, where did the first vasana come from? What was there that caused the big bang to bang? It was the first impulse for which all of this unwound. That is the end. The whole thing in motion and is in the now. Still the ruler. Ishvara, Isha comes from the root ichichati, to wish, to will, to intend. In Brahman is Maya, Maya Shakti, co-eternal with the infinite, which is the potentiality. Next idea.
The witness.
Yes. So even though the Lord is the ruler of it all, consciousness is never touched by it. One of the classic images is pratibimba. Bimba is a mirror. I go into the bathroom and I look in the mirror and there's an old white guy with a beard. There we go. But the mirror is just the witness. Young woman Deepa goes in, very pretty. But the mirror doesn't care. Just the witness. And never touched by the reflection. Now, there's an incredible practice implied here. As you move through your days with its highs and lows and gains and losses and successes and failures, keep checking out yourself and see whether or not, right, when the trouble happens, you are still witnessing consciousness. Prove this to yourself. Next idea.
The abode, the shelter.
Yes. So it's not that I, as a person, am going to go someplace. Nirvana, that's down from Emeryville. Brahmaloka, that's where I'm going to go. It's right outside the orbit of Jupiter. Where is the mind at peace? Where does it feel safe? Where is it? When is it free from fear? Come home. Sharana, the shelter. Next idea.
The friend.
Earlier verse, Krishna says, for the person in ignorance, the self is the enemy. My mind is a mess. I'm always upset. I don't know who I am. And if I think I'm this, that, or the other thing, I'm all sad. But when I know who I am, Remember, when you realize the self in you, you realize self in everybody else too. When the mind finally knows what satisfies it, it comes home. Babaji used to say, hurry home, hurry home. Come home. Drop the concerns of this world. It's all just trinkets and balls. Colored glass. But you have the Chintamani, the wish fulfilling gem. What do you mean, gem? Well, if I get a car, how will I feel? Happy. If I get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, how will I feel? Happy. If I get a bigger house, how will I feel? Happy. If I get a raise at work, how will I feel? Happy. Why don't you let go of the medium? The cow, the horse, the dog, the house, the partner, and just go for the happiness, which is your own self nature. You are the Chintamani, the wish fulfilling gem, not the cheap colored glass of this world. Now, cheap colored glass can be pretty, but it's not valuable. Ooh, the most precious of all. Next idea.
The origin and the dissolution.
Yes. So, just as at night, out of the unmanifest of your sleeping mind, the dream proceeds. Your mind is the origin. And at the end of the dream, where does the dream go? It dissolves back into your mind. You really examine the dream. Vedanta becomes very simple. You are the god of your dream. The condition of the dream I call mini Maya. Very small scale. You reenact the cosmos. So Krishna is the origin and the dissolution of it all. Now listen carefully. The universe is beautiful, organized, beneficent, but it's also violent and destructive. I'm watching these astrophysics YouTube, and Betelgeuse, the star Betelgeuse, the astronomers think it's going to go supernova. But all the elements that make up your body, heavier elements, are all created in supernovas. This incredible destructive force, perhaps the most powerful force that we know of, creates you and me. Mars once had running water, might have even had life as we know it. It's gone. 99% more of all the species that have lived on the earth are extinct. Nothing lasts. Nothing. But isness always is, being always is, and form is always changing. See the world for what it is. See yourself for what. Is that all the ideas in that one? Is there one more?
Two more.
Okay.
The foundation, the treasure house, and the seed imperishable.
Okay, the foundation, meaning the stuff out of which everything is built. We've gone over that idea a lot. The treasure house. This is our deep penetration into what is happiness. When the mind, in its ignorance, extroverts with kama, craving, it's vikshepa shakti, it's longing, it's controlling, it's protecting. It sucks. And in my ignorance, I'm convinced, oh, I want to find a blah, 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 blah. That'll be so much better. I really want it. And it hurts so bad to be in that state. And here Krishna is saying, what you really want is me. We have a God-shaped hole in our hearts. Keep putting little tiny things in it, which never fill it up. Foundation, treasure house, and what was the last one?
The seed imperishable.
Yes. The bija. So God is the impulse, the seed, the origin of everything that's going on. It's all perfect, which is different than your idea and my idea of good and bad. The spiritual life never says at the level of the body, you're going to hit all the green lights of life. Not going to happen. But it does allow us to match calamity with serenity, tragedy with acceptance. Wise grieve neither for the living nor the dead. Way back in chapter 2. Master Jesus would say, my kingdom is not of this world. Tell you about not the kingdom of this world, but the kingdom of heaven. A place right here, right now, because he would say the kingdom of heaven is at hand, where I'm in the world, but not of it. Is that all the pieces of that verse?
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Tapam yahamaham varsham nigrihranam yutsrujami cha amrutam chaiva mrityuscha satsachah marjuna. As sun, I give the heat. I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and also death, both existence and non-existence, O Arjuna.
Yes. So here we're invited again to deeply understand that the cosmos is unfolding as it should. Let it be. That doesn't mean that my body, mind, intellect is not a part of the process. You walk outside of your front door in the morning on your way to work, and there's dog poop on the porch. Oh, karma. The Lord's put dog poop there. Well, clean it up. The Lord also gave you the ability to clean it up. So we act how best we can. And yoga invites us to give up the indulgent part of the mind, the raga and the vesha, the inner 2-year-old, and begin to operate from the intuition, this non-logical part of the mind, where we have super intelligence. I tell you, take the risk to start trusting your intuition. Now, you've got to give up your attachment to the results. And it's worth making mistakes and screwing up a bit to develop that enormous peace, to know that at every moment you have access to perfect right action. Now, the Tibetans call this crazy wisdom because it's non-logical. We give up having the business plan for life. That doesn't mean if you're going to take a job offer, you don't list the benefits and list the detriments, weigh it. But should you take it, ultimately, let go and ask, what should I do, God? It's your will. We cultivate the intuition. It's a practice. Begin to participate in an intelligence that runs everything. All right, next one.
I am immortality and also death.
Oh, now the word here is amritam, comes from the root mrit, which means death. So not death, immortality. But in Sanskrit, it also has a second meaning. Amritam also means nectar. So immortality is also nectar. It is rasila. It's juicy. At the level of the equipment, existence, non-existence, death, birth. I love what Deepak Chopra says. The opposite of death is not life. The opposite of death is birth. There is no opposite to life. Isn't that wonderful? Only form change. You know, if you're not a kid, Go look at a photo of yourself when you were 5, 10, 15 years old. Where is that body? Down the toilet, down the drain. It's dead. You are not. And even when this body falls off, perfectly safe. Next one.
Both existence and non-existence.
Yes, we talked about that. So both existence and non-existence has to do with name and form. So the fact that things come into existence, that's Krishna. They go out of existence, that too. But there is a being that is beyond the existence and the non-existence of the phenomenal. Next idea.
That's it.
Next verse.
It's the different meter, and there's two shlokas together. Trevidyamam somapa putapapa yagyerištva swargagatim prarthavyante te punyamasadya surendra loka mashnanti divyandi devi deva bhogan te tem bhuktva swargalokam vishalam क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते. The knowers of the three Vedas, the drinkers of Soma, purified from sin, worshipping me by sacrifices, pray for the way to heaven. They reach the holy world of the Lord of the gods and enjoy in heaven the divine pleasures of the gods. They, having enjoyed the vast heaven world, when their merits are exhausted, enter the world of the mortals, thus abiding by the injunctions of the three Vedas, desiring objects of desires, they attain to the state of going and returning, or samsara.
Yes. So we don't know necessarily what soma is. It occurs as a drink in the Vedas. Some people have researched it that it might have been a mildly hallucinogenic plant that comes from like Central Asia. But the whole point that we're getting at here, the knowers of the Vedas, we're talking about the Karma Kanda section. Basically, those people who obey the injunctions of an intelligent life to live it righteously and fully. They gather what's known as punya, merit. They expiate their sin, papa. What happens to them? When they die, they go to Brahmaloka. They go to the highest non-physical realm, Swarga, heaven. Now, in the Christian traditions, heaven is permanent. Hinduism, Swarga is temporary. So you build up punya in the bank, and then when your merit is exhausted, back into the world. Now, let's take it out of the realm of cosmology, mythology. So So you work really hard and you get a promotion and a raise at work. You're getting attention, you're getting validation, you're getting a bigger paycheck, you got a nicer office. But what happens if you rest on your laurels? Start phoning it in. You quit working really hard. Start calling in days off, putting in an hour or two only at work. What's going to happen? You tell me.
I don't know.
You'll probably get demoted or canned. Meaning your merit is exhausted. So in order to keep getting promotions and getting more raises and a fancier office and a better title, you gotta keep going. You think you had stress and had to run fast last year? You've got to run even faster this year just to keep up. Isn't that the stress that most of us live our lives under? Meaning we come back to the human realm, where we get to ask the deep, profound questions. Maybe the rat race isn't what life is about. Maybe we need to have not so much a focus on our standard of living, but on our standard of life. Maybe we need to have a reevaluation of our values. Only you can decide that for yourself. But Krishna says, if you stay in the world, working hard to get what you want, this is Deva Yajna again. You may win for a while, but without continued effort, it's temporary. Don't believe me. Don't believe Krishna. Take a look at your life. Okay, we'll end here tonight. What verse are we on for next week?
22.
22. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.